people. So there's one thing that I don't particularly like is that they're the biggest ones and they're kind of like a monopoly and they can do whatever they want. I mean, now we have Blur, and but I think the whole environment should be much bigger than just a couple of large players. Uh, so, like for example, Uniswap works pretty good in the sense that people set their own fees and it's all relatively fair. When it comes to NFTs and OpenSea, I think well, you can't avoid the 2.5%. 2.5% of the fees that they take, right? Uh, Blur, I think, is taking less. I haven't looked recently, but I think if we
Yeah,
have
you're right. You're right.
I think if we have more competition, then there will be more value given to the people that collect, right? And obviously, ERC20 tokens and NFTs they're a different animal. NFTs are more collectibles, and you can do all kinds of like games there. They have a lot of prominent personalities that are trying to push NFTs. So I am not against builders charging or agreeing with their community that they should take some sort of a percentage on the trade. And I am kind of okay with OpenSea taking a cut because they're a huge promoter of a project. Like they actually make the market, which is which is okay because if you think about it, when it comes to the ERC20s, anything outside of Uniswap, there's all kinds of things that are happening. There's market makers that sell the tokens back to themselves and pump the volume and entice the whales to come in, and then everything spirals out of control. And there's like this giant god candle or whatever, Judas candle, whatever they're called, and people get sucked in and then everything gets dumped. So I would say that the market is a lot more unfair when it comes to centralized exchanges versus like OpenSea is very transparent. Like everything that happens there is on chain, and you can agree to it or you can not agree to it. Now, when it comes to centralized exchanges, you get in and you don't even know what you're getting into. You don't know if you're buying from the real users or you're buying from the exchange, or it's like a founder dumping on you and there's like fees involved. Like that is a lot crazier world. So I think like I don't mind OpenSea the way they are. I think they should get more competition. And it's given that OpenSea kind of like they pioneered the on-chain trade, it will be very hard for other marketplaces to make it worse than they have because, well, they kind of established the standard. So yeah, I mean, I've been on OpenSea for a couple of years now in terms of just dabbling into and researching other NFTs. And of course, I mean, the NFTs, we launched the NFTs specifically so that people can trade future mints uh, based on the market conditions and actually make the minting safer. Because like when you do a vanilla mint, it's kind of like attached to your wallet, or you use coin tools, for example. You cannot get rid of it once you spend the gas. That's it. You spend the gas. But with NFTs, you can make new ones, or you can buy them on the open market from other people who mint it, which actually is a very interesting game theory too, because you can buy the NFTs that are maturing or have closer date to maturity than the new ones that you would have made. And you can also, if you did make yourself an NFT, you can sell them. You can sell them tomorrow. You're not locked to wait for your.
So artists on OpenSea, and I don't really get royalties anymore from them, but I get more in quote unquote royalties from my staked Zen, in DXN protocol rewards than I do on secondary sales on my art. And I that's kind of the point of my question, Jack, was I think you're at what 800 ETH volume on OpenSea. Are you seeing any of that? Do you feel like you should be seeing any of that? I'm just curious. I don't expect an
Yeah,
answer one way or the other.
I think it's definitely over 1,000 at this point. Uh, so I do have. the royalty set at 2.5%, and it's very very transparent. It is sitting there in the wallet. We did withdraw some of the royalties, and I ended up paying my devs from that ETH basically, so that they can continue to work. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree. If there is an agreement between your community and a developer that the money goes to you as a developer and everybody's okay with it, then everything's okay. What I'm not okay with is when somebody is obviously lying where things go to or what that money is kind of like is
Agreed.
used for. So, like for example, I mean, and I mean, this subject matter has
Punk.
been, I, this subject matter has been beat to death. I mean, like if you think about hacks, right? So, uh, OA, OA is like it's. I think it's Richard. I don't know if it's Richard, but it makes sense that it is. Now he says it's not him, or he basically does not say that it's him. So the problem is that okay, well, you have to like he has to deny the fact that he's making a shitload of money from hexagons for some reasons, and those reasons could be avoiding the law, or there's this possibility of okay, if the money does not go to him, then therefore he has no control. Therefore, should hex be pumped with the same funds, it can happen, and the trail will not lead to him. Now that's obviously very very shady, obviously, right? Because the community does not know exactly what's happening with the funds, and there's this like I mean hex contract. I looked at it. It has the like anytime you do end stake or emergency end stake before maturity, half of it goes to in address, and it's on chain, right?
Wow.
You can see it, but like if 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 this was a project launched and the person who was behind it just said, okay, this all of this money goes to me, right? Because for whatever reason, and people are okay with it, then everybody should be okay with it because it's very very transparent. But if somebody says, okay, well, I have all the reasons to hide the fact what I'm gonna do with the money, and that doesn't money go to me, that's what I'm against in principle, because it starts the project on the wrong kind of like concept,
My
and
man.
that is what I never want to do with my projects, because like if I launch some sort of a shitcoin and I say, hey, 50% of the fees go to me, then I should just say it. I shouldn't like do a dog and pony show about like that it goes to some shaman in Siberia.